Be strong and get healthy. Stretch. Feel great about yourself and have some fun. It's time for you. Fitness is the key to your future. Don't get locked out. Take the challenge. Commit to be fit. Thanks for joining me today on Commit to be Fit. I'm Susie Smith, and today's show is all about bicycle safety and awareness. And I have a special guest with me today. I'd like to welcome Darla Tripoli.
Hello, everyone.
She's going to help me today with explaining some of the safety tips and things that you're going to want to know to get out there on the road and enjoy yourself this summer. Now, this show isn't focused toward the professional street biker. We're more, Darla has a mountain bike and I have a hybrid, so we're more on the trails and trying to avoid traffic. So we're going to talk a little bit today about how to get your bike ready, how to get out there and have some fun and still be safe. So Darla, what do you think we should start with? Let's start with how do we prepare our bikes?
That sounds great.
Okay.
Typically, the first thing I do is make sure that my tire pressure is good.
Okay.
And I like to make sure that everything is safe. I always have my tire pump with me, usually in the car, in case of emergencies. I know you have something that you carry with you, right?
I do have a tire pump in the Jeep, but I carry a Fix-A-Flat with me.
Great
just
idea.
in case, because if you're out there, you know, I don't know how far you bike. You're a good 20, 30-mile biker.
Usually, yes.
Yeah. If you're out there 20 miles down, you know, a trail and you have a flat, you're going to need something. So either a tire pump or Fix-A-Flat's good.
Absolutely. I always have my helmet with me. Also, I carry some things in the bag that I have on my bike. An important item, I think, is a first aid kit. Because you never know if you're going to get an insect bite or a blister or anything like that. So I make sure that I have that with me at all times.
Yeah, I always carry Band-Aids and a little Neosporin or Polysporin with me just in case.
Great idea. The other item that I carry with me always is sunscreen.
That is
SPF
great.
50. Always want to make sure that I'm protected and covered when I'm outside.
I was on a 30-mile trip, and it was 95 that day.
Oh, my.
And, you know, it's a good thing to have some sunscreen when you're out there because you're really getting pounded on.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The other thing that I like to carry with me is a snack. And I especially love this because it's a great combination of protein, carbohydrates. In case I need some energy, I have something with me that I can get energy to keep going with my biking.
Well, that's great. So that's what you start off by packing your bag.
Yes.
And checking your tire pressure.
Right. I also make sure that I have a water bottle with me. Sometimes water, sometimes an electrolyte drink, depending on how far I'm going to be biking. And the other thing I like to carry with me is some headphones. I always have my phone with me too in case of emergency.
I always have a phone.
Yeah. Very important to have that just in case something happens.
Tell me about your headphones because I don't wear headphones because I'm afraid of not hearing what's going on. So what do you do with your headphones?
That's a great question. I'm all into safety, so whenever I'm listening to music, which I love to do on the trail sometimes.
It does keep you going.
It does, it does. And I only put one headphone in, one earphone.
That is such a good
and
idea.
I leave the other one out so that I need to, you know, hear what's going on around me or be aware that I can do that and be safe.
That is an excellent point because you can still keep that beat going in your head because I usually have some type of an aerobic beat going on in my head so I can keep the pedaling.
Sure.
But just if you're going to wear headphones, just one is plenty. That's enough to keep you going, and that way you can hear what's going on.
Absolutely.
Well, what I keep in my pack, I have a lot of the same things that you have. I carry, sometimes I'll carry a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Okay.
I like to carry like a protein bar, but they melt in the hot weather. So yeah, try to bring a piece of fruit with you or something like that. I carry extra bungee cords just because if I want to secure something or I find something on the trail and I want to take it with me, I just put it there.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, I'm a bungee cord person, though. I can bungee anything. And this is an excellent little product. It's called Body Glide. And one thing that you want to think about is getting a rash while you're riding. If you ride over 5-10 miles, the friction is going to give you a rash in between your legs and some other areas. So you want to use Body Glide and put that, and they also make other brands like Slip or whatever, and you can just put that on the actual padding of your pants, because you want to wear padded pants or have an extra padded seat like Darla does. I usually wear padded pants, and we have the Fix-A-Flat, of course. And one thing that I like to take with me, my husband and I go together a lot, so he carries half the stuff. He carries an extra canteen of water along with this, because this will last me about 16 miles.
Wow.
And then I'm done. You know, I have to. But this little tool you can get when you purchase your bike or get at a bike store, but it has a lot of different Allen wrenches on it and some different Phillips and straight screwdrivers. The other day when my husband Jimmy and I were biking, his seat came loose, and you know, we had checked everything before we left, so I don't know what happened, but it started tilting up, so we had to pull over, and luckily we had our tool, or he would be pushing his bike back.
Yeah, which isn't so much fun. That's a great tool.
And so how do you get yourself ready, Darla? Like that's pretty much what I carry in my bag. And what about our clothing or anything like that?
I like the padded shorts, as you say.
Padded
That
shorts
makes
are good.
the driving and riding much more comfortable. I also like to do some stretches and some warm-ups before I start.
Oh, that's excellent. Would you like to demonstrate any certain stretches, or just tell me which ones you do? Or?
Usually I'll do a hamstring stretch, a calf stretch.
Okay, maybe just leaning over, or basic stretches, and pushing the leg back for calf stretch, just to get warmed up.
Yes, mostly my lower body. That's what I'm really trying to get ready for a bike ride. I like to do, you know, maybe some arm twirls and just kind of loosen
Get
myself
the shoulders
up a
going,
little
yeah.
bit. Yes.
Because you will be leaning forward, and there's a lot of pressure on the body. But as far as safety goes, I would say have tight pants on like Darla and I have, because you don't want your pant legs to get caught in the, you know, the wheel or anything. And you have excellent shoes on today.
Thank you.
The bottoms have a nice grip, and that will grip onto your pedal. And do you clip? Some people clip.
I do not. I am actually kind of afraid to clip.
I'm afraid to clip. My friend Marcy Clark, that you know, she says that there's a big learning curve to that.
I'm sure.
And I don't know if I'd live through that learning curve. So I wear knobby, you know, the shoes with some good grip, and just be careful. But some people do wear the clips.
Absolutely, yes.
Well, as far as safety on the road, Darla and I usually aren't on the road. We're usually on trails. That's where we go. Because when you're in traffic, the main thing you're doing is just trying to avoid being hit, and you can't really get a good workout.
Right.
For me.
For me too, but I really enjoy being in nature. I love
do too.
it. It is just such a stress reliever for me.
I do.
And that's what I want to focus on. I don't want to have to worry so much about my safety. Obviously, I'm aware of what's going on around me, but I would prefer to focus on nature and what I see in nature.
It's very yogic. I would advise anyone who hasn't bicycled for a long time to really consider taking that up as a hobby this summer. I was probably off the bicycle for 30 years.
Oh my.
Before I got back on, and it's very yogic. I can just focus on pedaling and breathing, and it just feels good. You can put everything out of your mind and be in the moment. And
love that.
That's what I love.
Yes.
But as far as safety, I say when we're on the trail, if you see someone in front of you, do you signal them?
I do. Usually I'll speak to them and saying on the left to make sure they know that I'm going to go around them on the left. Try to communicate. And again, that's why I have one headphone in, one headphone out. So
That's
I
an excellent idea,
can communicate with people when I need to.
Yeah, I usually, Jimmy has a horn on his bike, and I need to get a bell, but I usually just yell, you know, I'm passing on your left, and I wait for a reaction to see if they're actually listening. And but you should, if you're going on the trail and you're a fast biker, which you can really get a good workout on a trail because you can pick up your speed. You're not concerned about traffic, just little animals jumping out in front of you. You have to be careful of that. But yeah, I just try to yield to the slower traffic because people are just getting started, and a lot of times, you know, it's a little scary out there if you're not used to it. But
very true.
So, Darla, let's tell the audience a little bit something about yourself.
Okay.
Okay. What do you do for a living? And you have a message today that you wanted to get out.
I do.
Okay.
Actually, I'm a funeral director. I worked many years at Need, and that's kind of how I developed my love for biking. Was I needed a stress reliever, and that was it for me. Currently, though, I am doing pre-arrangements, which is a really nice way for families to make their arrangements ahead of time so their loved ones don't have to do it under stress. There's a lot of decisions to be made at that time. So it's better for people to come in and get it done. So that's my job. I meet with families and make sure that they're getting exactly what they want.
And how could someone get, I mean, I think that's a wonderful thing that you do. And I know that it's hard for people to talk about that because, you know, we don't want to think about that, but we want to think about our relatives and, you know, take care of them. So you want to just make your arrangements. And how would they get a hold of you? How would people get a hold of you?
They can Google me. That's probably the best way.
Darla Tripoli?
Yes.
And we'll have that at the end of the show.
Yes. And then I can either talk with them over the phone or I can meet with them in person to just help them kind of get started in the process. I think getting started is the hardest part. Most time when I meet with people, once that they're through the process, they're so grateful that they did it.
So relieved.
Yes, very much so. So, but I love what I do. And as I said, just biking has been such a great stress reliever for me.
Now,
so.
see, I would never think that was your occupation. I would think you were like a high model or some fashion model. But yeah, I think that's great because I have a lot of animals, and I have, you know, made arrangements with my friend Marcy that she would, you know, take care of everything. So it's good to know that, you know, things are settled.
It is. Yeah. I think it gives you peace of mind, and you know, there's no price that you can put on having peace of mind.
Exactly.
So I noticed something about your bike. It looks different than last time I saw you. What's going on with that?
Well, it's very different. I started a program in 2010, as you know, down at the Washington Area Humane Society, and it's called the Pets for U.S. Vets. 2010, and now it's 2015, and I want to let all of the people that helped me with that program know that the program is safe and it's still going. We're still adopting we're averaging 50 animals a year.
Wow.
To veterans. Our local veterans don't have to pay for adoption fees. You just bring in your DD-214 and you're just, you know, scanned just like anybody else, except you don't have to pay. And the reason I did that is just for respect for our local veterans. They keep us safe, and also my love for the homeless shelter animals. And so now that I've had 3 dog parties and raised a lot of money.
Wow.
And we still have money in the account, but we need the public to donate to the Veterans Fund at the Washington Area Humane Society, or just go down and take your DD-214 and adopt a new best friend. But I've decorated my bike for the Pets for U.S. Vets, and also my Jeep, I have magnets on so that wherever I go, it sticks out and people ask me. And now that you've asked me, you get a card.
I would love one. Thank you.
So I pass out cards to people as I'm biking. But yeah, that's the deal with my new paint job, is just to raise awareness.
It looks fantastic, and what a great cause.
Yeah, it's a great cause. So anything else that you can think of before we take off today for our ride through South Park?
I just think that it's so wonderful to be able to get outside and get fresh air and to ride your bike. I said, in my life, there's nothing that feels like it. Feels like I'm a kid again when I'm on my bike.
Oh, I'm 10 years old. When I get on my bike, another thing I'm thinking of is your seat position. I forgot to mention that.
Oh, good point.
But when your foot is all the way down, your knee should not be locked. So when you're on your bike, I don't want to dump it, but you want a slight bend on the knee. If it's down here, every time you're just going to keep overextending the knee. But what I see more than that, I see people that are biking like this. Do you see people?
I do.
And their knees are out to the side. You want to make sure you get that full rotation.
Yes, excellent. Great advice.
Yeah, so we're just going to have a good time today and bike, and we hope that this inspires you to at least try it this summer. Just, you know, get on a bike. I wouldn't advise starting with clips or cages.
Right.
Because you want to be able to get your foot off. And trying to think, is there anything else? safety or
No, just
tips?
enjoy.
Enjoy.
That's what it's
just
all
breathe.
about. Yeah.
Well, are you ready to go for a ride?
I am ready. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Great.
First thing we do is we put on our helmets because that is number one. And I always wear glasses because a lot of dirt gets in your eyes when you're out there on the trail, so you'll want to wear glasses. And there's a proper way to wear a helmet. Let me show you here. You always want to wear a helmet. Darla and I walked over here because we didn't have our helmets on earlier. We don't even take a little ride without our helmet because the first thing that's going to happen to you if you fall off your bike, you might hit your shoulder first, but your head's coming next. You're going to always hit your head when you fall. And you want to have about maybe a finger above your glasses here. You don't want your, you're not like having it way back here because
Right.
if you hit your forehead, so you try to keep it down. And I think we're about ready for a ride.
I'm ready if you are.
All right.
Let's go.
Let's do it.
Do you ever go the Great Allegheny Passage? The Gap Trail, Great Allegheny Passage?
Where is that?
That's the trail that goes from Pittsburgh to Washington, D.C.
And you've gone that?
We've not gone that distance, no. We've just ridden on some of the trail.
Do you want to?
I'd love to.
Yeah, because Jimmy and I were talking about doing that. That would be great.
Paul and I would love to do that. We often talked about that, starting in Pittsburgh, ending up in D.C., and then riding the train back to Pittsburgh.
That would be excellent.
Wouldn't it? Because going is all downhill.
Oh, yeah, that'd be great. The thing about going downhill, you have to be really careful, too, when you talk about going downhill. You want to check your brakes before you go biking, the main thing. And I like to put tire black on here so it shines, but I don't. I keep myself from doing it because, if any of it, gets on here and gets slippery
Right.
on the side here where the brake touches your rim, then it's not going to stop when you're flying down the hill.
Right.
So you want to make sure about the brakes. I like to go to Fredericktown. It's there's a trail in Fredericktown where they have the boat marina, and it's I think it's a 5.5 mile out. So if you do that 4 times, you've got a nice distance in, and it's really beautiful. A lot of trees, and we go past a chicken farm. The trail goes past the chicken farm, so we always stop and see the chickens and check that out. Take pictures like you do.
Sure. We enjoy the Montour Trail. That one we get on often. South Park, we'll come out here. Also in Peters Township, there's a trail.
Right. You don't want to do that on the weekends. That is busy on the weekends.
Okay.
Yeah. For the first 2 miles, and people usually peter out after about 2 miles or so. So if you're a distance rider, you can. I like Morgantown's probably my favorite right now.
Okay.
Along the river. Have you been there?
I have not. Sounds wonderful though.
And then they have at Morgantown, there's a turnoff called Decker Creek. And you can go, I think it's 11 miles uphill, which is really a lot of work, but coming down is a blast.
I bet.
Yeah.
That's when you feel 10 years old.
Yeah. Well, you and I both go to Mingo.
Yes, love Mingo. It's one of my favorite places to be.
It appears easy at first until you get to know Mingo. And there's that hill that goes up past the dog, the dog park.
Yes.
And there's another hill that goes up where that, oh, you took a picture. There's a tree that has a face carved in it.
Yes, up on the hill.
Yeah. So there's some really good work out at Mingo.
There is. And at Mingo, actually, we're comfortable riding on the road around Mingo.
I am
so,
too.
Because the trail is pretty crowded. They have a lot of runners, they have a lot of walkers, dog walkers. So we will get on the road there. And that's tough. I mean, there are some hills, as you say, that are pretty steep, but there's also a lot of room to ride. And we like that. There's a lot of places to explore in Mingo. While we were here, I noticed that we've been riding on asphalt, which is relatively smooth, but my husband and I have done some trails where it's the crushed limestone.
Oh, that's different.
And that's a much different texture than on an asphalt biking trail. So you just have to be careful, you don't want to go quite as fast. I find myself slowing down when I'm on crushed limestone. And just be aware that it's very easy for your bike to slip when you're riding on that type
Oh,
of surface?
sideways.
Yes.
And then you can go down. Are you thinking Fredericktown Trail?
Yes, yes.
Okay. That trail, when you come down, there's a hill.
Uh-huh.
And the limestone, and I think they have sand under it, it really shifts under your bike. And you have to be careful not to hit little sticks on the road because they can fly up and get in between your spokes and lock things up, and then you're over the handlebars. So you really want to consider, you know, going around those things and yeah, just the different surfaces, because you want to be really careful. Actually, you could change your tire pressure for different surfaces too. I keep my tire pressure kind of heavy when I'm on asphalt.
I see.
And I think Jimmy takes a little air out when we're on different surfaces. He takes care of that, though. That's my better half. But it's nice to have a partner. You really don't want to be out there by yourself.
That's true.
Yeah, it's good to have someone with you. So if you do have to cross over from a path onto, you know, a traveled road, you would want to use hand signals to make sure that you're visible and that people know exactly what you're going to do. Try to make eye contact with cars that are approaching you so that, you know, you can see that they actually see that you're there. And yeah, definitely different surfaces can bring up different problems, but just stay aware and always be looking and listening. That's the main thing. When I ride my bike, Darla, I'm 10 years old again. I know you are too.
I do too.
I've taught yoga for a lot of years, and I practice breathing techniques. And I find that I can really use that on my bike, that it relaxes me and I can get my blood pressure down. I mean, it's just a fantastic way of relaxing and also working your core, because you know, you need the balance and the core work, and I've had trouble with balance before with an ear infection, so biking has helped me actually get over some of that.
It's got a lot of great benefits, doesn't it?
And you feel so much stronger.
Sure.
And you get so much more oxygen in
Right.
because you're biking and working out.
There is nothing like fresh air. You know, if you're feeling down, there is nothing like getting on your bike and going for a ride and coming back and feeling invigorated and feeling like a new person. It really does a lot for your psyche.
Well, biking has really helped my leg muscles a lot too, because I've always had trouble building my leg muscles, even though I use a lot of weight and I'm very strong. It seems that biking has really done what I've wanted it to do as far as my legs and just firming them, and it's just an all-over really great workout. It's an upper body workout too, because when you're going up hills, you know, you're using your upper body and you're pulling on your bars and trying to get up them.
Right. Yeah, makes sense.
Do you get a lot of physical benefits from biking?
I do. The same thing. I think mostly my lower body, my legs feel a lot stronger from biking all summer. I think the cardio benefits as well. Just trying to get my heart rate up and making sure that, you know, I'm feeling good. As I said, there's nothing like it. You know, you go out in a bad mood, you come back in a fantastic mood.
Oh, it doesn't take long. It takes about 5 minutes, and then all those chemicals kick up in your brain, and you just feel so good.
That
And
is so true.
yeah, and it warms everything up, and you feel like stretching afterwards, and you get a really deep stretch after biking.
Yes. It's a great way to take care of yourself.
It's good for your skin because you sweat and
Yes.
it gets all those toxins out. And it's a good way to spend time with friends.
Oh, I agree. I think that's the best part.
You don't have to go to bars and drink to be with
Right.
your friends or, you know, that kind of, you don't have to, I mean, I used to, but this is my way to, you know, party now. I like to be with my friends on my bicycle and just really enjoy a good workout.
I agree. And when my husband and I go out on trails especially, we'll stop. If we see a waterfall or if we see something we want to explore, we'll stop, put our bikes aside, and we'll go explore for a while. And we take great pictures of nature, and then when we're done, we hop back on our bike and go find the next adventure.
And that's mental fitness, and that's, you know, part of the mind-body connection. And you really need that, the mental fitness and the relaxation that you get from bicycling is just unmatched.
I agree.
Well, that sure felt good.
That was fantastic.
I love biking over here. South Park is a great place to come. and bike on the trails here. You'll have a great time. But if you're over here, I notice, you know, the traffic. We want to be careful with the cars because there is quite a bit of traffic coming through South Park.
There is. You know what else I noticed? There was a lot of animals out today, a lot of dogs.
A lot of dogs, yeah. So we want to stay over to the side of the road, but we don't want to stay over so far that people don't see us. I've read lately that it's best to behave like a car when you're in traffic. You want to do the same thing that cars are doing. So try to, you know, make sure that you're visible. And if you have a headlight, a blinking headlight, or, you know, you want to make sure you have tail lights or reflectors.
Great advice.
Yeah,
Yes.
because you just want to be visible. That's your best. Try not to ride too close to parked cars either, because the other day one opened a car door right in front of me, and I thought, oh, okay,
no.
I just missed that.
Right, right. Yeah, you have to be aware, definitely aware what's going on around you for safety.
Yeah, but that was a great ride, and we'll have to.
Yes.
What do you think about going up hills, though? Are you a hill?
I'm not in love with them, but yes, I'll do them, and it certainly gets my heart going, and the cardio aspect of it is fantastic. But I prefer to ride more on flat. I think to just keep things consistent for me, and kind of like you, I zone out sometimes. I'm more interested in what's going on, you know, around me. So that's kind of how I look at my bike ride.
Yeah, I like the hills. I always try to throw a hill in, but I notice that the flat seems to be a lot more work because it's constant. Like if you have a hill, then you've got that downhill and you
Right.
get a break. But
Right.
when you're on just level, you're just working the whole time.
Yes, you sure are. It's a great workout.
And afterwards, I like to stretch a lot because my legs get really tight.
That's great advice.
Yeah.
Do you do the same type of stretches that you do initially before you bike?
I do, but I do more. I usually get on my reformer and do some Pilates or do some floor Pilates, just anything. Take a hot shower and then you can really stretch.
Great idea.
Afterwards, yeah.
And I'm sure hydration too is extremely important afterwards, just as it is before and during, you know, to make sure that you're really hydrated, especially during hot weather when you've done a lot of biking.
And I know you, how often do you bike?
Oh my gosh, not as often as I'd like to.
I try to make it 3 times a week.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah, is that about what you do?
No, I usually bike on the weekend since I work during the week. Definitely a weekend warrior.
Oh, you definitely are. With all your mud runs and everything else. Aren't you preparing for a mud run right now?
Actually, we're thinking about doing one in June. My husband is really great at preparing and helping me prepare for those. Love doing those. But I think as we get older, we just really enjoy being on our bike more. It's not as much wear and tear on our bodies.
No, I used to run, and I don't really enjoy that on my body as much as I do biking. Biking is more fluid, and it's just more relaxing. And but safety is the big key. You know, just that's one thing we just want to make sure you always wear your helmet. Some people wear pads, elbow pads, and things like that. I just love it. We just want you to have a lot of fun. So just remember, take the challenge and commit to be fit. Happy trails.
Happy trails.
Over 1 million people in the U.S. get cancer each year. Today we will be informing you about melanoma or skin cancer.
Symptoms of melanoma are changes in existing moles, the development of new pigmented or unusual looking growths on your skin, chills, cough, and feeling weak or achy.
Some risk factors of melanoma are fair skin and light-colored hair, applying sunscreen, avoiding midday sun, wearing protective clothing, wearing a hat, sunglasses, and avoiding tanning beds are all ways of preventing melanoma.
Skin cancer is the most common form of cancer. In fact, 1 in 5 Americans will develop skin cancer in their lifetime. If you experience any of these symptoms, contact your doctor immediately. Yearly professional skin exams are recommended. For more information on these cancers, visit cancer.org.